Hey, it's Bina. I'm here to tell you that black people was the original species of the human race. And for those, some of you will agree with me. And for those who don't, I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. So, even looking back at the theory of the human revolution, they even believe that we originated from apes. And from apes, we would be black. Because in the human revolution theory, we were mostly located in the hot temperature areas. And we then slowly migrated into groups to different regions of the world. Into that process, we have came upon different plants and food that would alter our DNA to look a certain way, which then created different races across the globe. Even looking back at the theory of the human revolution, even they would tell you that the original humans were black. Now, for those who don't believe in the human revolution theory, which I kind of don't, so for those who don't believe in it, I'm going to tell you why it makes more sense for black people to be the original species of the human race on this earth. One would be melanin. Who has the most melanin out of all the races? Black people. Black people, we have the most melanin out of all the races. Because melanin is good, especially when to protect us from the sun. If you look at mostly whiter skin tones, they tend to get sunburn. I'm not saying that black people don't get sunburned. They do, we do, but not as fast as other lighter skin tones do. You know, depending on your skin tones will tell you how long it would take you to get sunburned. And that alone is a good reason why black people was made to live in this environment. And as you can tell that most white people have skin pentation. It's like a skin, they mostly get skin diseases, which isn't good. They don't do well under the sun. And also, if you look at the statistic, black people compared to white people, the race I realize tends to have the most death-ending diseases of white people. They're the ones who tend to get diseases like cancer and be allergic to certain things, to many things. They're the ones who tend to have those type of conditions. Because if you speak to other races other than white, you will realize they don't really understand the concept of allergies, because most don't have those. I don't know if whether it's the type of food we're eating, the type of food that especially American people eating, that's making them have these type of diseases or allergy problems. Because if you look at that, you could look into the food industry and you will see a lot of messed up stuff about it compared to other places around the world where people, especially in the places that in Africa where they grow their own food, they make their own food, or places like other island type of base countries where they make their own food, they have less allergies and diseases compared to the white people. And this could come from, you know how I believe in, said for those people that believe in the ape theory, you know, the human race evolution theory. For those people that don't, what if white people is genetic? What if they wasn't original species from this planet? What if they came down from another place and landed here? It's all what ifs. Or what if there were mutants between humans and aliens to be able to live on this planet? To be able to be around this type of environment, they had to combine DNAs with black people, the original human species. Because if you really think about it, like, how was, even without all these type of medical treatments that we have now from hospitals, you know, like curable type of shots that will help us, you know, cure us, you know, compared to how people like Native Americans, Africans, me being Haitian, how we originally made our type of medicine. We mostly went to plant medicine. Plant medicine is very common amongst ethnic people. And when I say ethnic people, I mean like ethnic Africans, Mexican, Haitians, Jamaicans, Caribbeans. They know of this thing called plant medicine. And through plant medicine, they were able to cure many type of diseases and problems that they had. And compared to how white people used to live amongst the planet, and to how black people were living amongst the planet, white people were just kept taking from the earth, taking and never giving back. And this is why most of the land they were living in, if you look back at the 1800s, they always had to move to a different locations because they kept taking from the earth but never giving back. And that what brought them to having to move all the time. And that what brought them to taking over other spaces of other lands. And those people which is technically black people, would take from the land but give it back. They knew certain ways to work with the earth, that tons of type of things that the white people didn't know. Back in the 1800s, white people, they tend to have tons of forest fires and they never knew how to control it. But Native Americans knew this strategy to keep forest fires from happening. And that's something that white people never knew about. And just like black people also was very spiritually connected to the earth. We had our own type of beliefs. We used to do our own type of ceremonies, type of what people call voodoo, to be connected spiritually with the earth. But these white people moved and once they took over the land, the people that they found on those land wasn't living the way they did. They thought they were savages. Of course, because they were egoistic enough to think that if they're not like us, that means they're not doing it as good as we are. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna show you a video that I found on TikTok that talk basically around the whole concept of religion, how religion was brought upon black people and POC people, and was like a way to control us in a way.
Imagine if you're not scared of death, you're not going to be a good slave. And this is one of the reasons Christianity preached suicide is a sin. Yeah? One of the reasons that you get your reward in the afterlife, but only if you're a good slave.
It really is a science of the spirit, and that this voodoo that they demonized, the demonization of it was intentional because they wanted to separate us from the very thing that gave us power.
Let's be clear, a lot of African spiritual systems believed in what we call the transmigration of the soul. So they believe that the soul is eternal. This was very problematic for people you want to enslave. Again, coming back to before we even get to Haiti, in Africa itself, there are copious records. Europeans writing about slavery. If Africans just jumping in the sea, I'd rather dead than be a slave. Consistent. And particular groups, so the Igbo of Nigeria, who were a group that very much believed in the transmigration of the soul, they were one of the groups that is recorded by Europeans were most likely to commit suicide. Because they believed they'd be reborn in Africa. They believed that their soul lived forever, so I'd rather die than this stuff.
Since you've seen the video, in that video you would have seen that they made voodoo into something demonic. which was never something that was an issue until the white people took over and they came and whitewashed everything. If you look at the ancient civilizations, like places like Egypt, the Mayans, Mesopotamia, those places were filled with people that was black. Egypt was black, mostly black people, POC people with a darker skin texture, but they were highly advanced in their technology. They were building pyramids. They were creating these type of giant type of buildings that even today can be replicated. Even today, people don't know how they were able to create those type of huge type of buildings, pyramids, rock made, dirt made type of housings, without having to use things like the things that we have now, things that like trucks to help us build these type of things. You know, they still today, they still don't know how to make those type of living environments which will last forever, which will last very, very long compared to how they build stuff now. Because if you look at all the buildings and pyramids that they built, they are still up till today. Even through all the type of different climates, type of environments that have happened, they are still up till now. So that what make them intelligent. Even the tools they use was intelligent, you know? And that's because for some reason white people cannot concept that black people can be intelligent and have those type of advanced type of technologies. They then portray Egyptians, all these type of POC based countries into white civilizations. Like through all the movies you've seen about Egypt gods, Egypt goddesses, even the pharaohs, they made them all white through the movies just to downplay black people's intelligence, black people creativities. If I'm being completely honest, I have met more creative black people than I have met creative white people. I don't know if it's just my social group, is like that, but that's how I see it. I don't know if you see it like that as well. Even through things like culture, we created most cultures. If you've seen all type of cultures outside that sticked, that worked, which all these things will lead back to the reason why I believe black people was the original species of the human race. Anyway, that was all for today. If you have some things you want to say, please leave it in the comments below. I read all comments. I would love to hear what you got to say about this and what's your perspective on this as well. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye.